Hello leaders, this is Jason Graziani. Welcome to our channel, Leader for Life. Today we're going to dive right into principle number 9, which is processing issues with an open heart and an open mind. Now today what I want to do first, before I give you the 7 steps on how to process issues with an open heart and an open mind, I want to define for you. What do you mean processing issues, Jason? What do you mean an open mind or an open heart? What exactly does that mean? I provided a little list here for processing issues. Processing issues can mean anything in regards to, 1, receiving information, which means anything you read, hear, see, any information that enters your mind has to be processed. Now, luckily, our mind is going to process most things without us even thinking about it. But you know those lingering thoughts when you're driving to work. You know those lingering thoughts when you get into work or when you get home and it's just stuck with you for a while. And your sweetheart says, "What's going on, babe? What is it?" And I'm just those types of things. Those things are very important. That's receiving information. And that means that information is lingering in your head and you need to process it. It could be an internal struggle within yourself. It may be a decision that you need to make. Maybe you need to form some opinions. What are your opinions on politics, religion, sports, marriage, whatever subjects matter to you? What internal struggle are you going through and what issue needs to be processed out? It may be an issue with your team, your organization. Maybe there's an issue that's really plaguing your whole team, your whole office, your whole household. Maybe it's with an individual team member or family member or coworker or friend. Maybe it's one person that you have an issue with currently, or maybe it's just somebody else that needs to be addressed. So that's really processing issues, where the different avenues of issues can come from. Now, what does an open heart and an open mind mean? Well, an open heart means having a level of compassion for other people's feelings and other people's situation. We all have heard, "You have never lived life walking in my shoes. You don't understand what it's like. You don't understand." And that's why one of the best reasons for us to be able to process together is to have a level of compassion and say, "Hey, maybe I'm not thinking about your feelings right now. Maybe I'm not thinking about what it is to be you. Maybe I'm not thinking about your circumstances right now." And so when you have an open heart, you're able to take a moment, stop, just take 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, and just process. I wonder what that person's really thinking and how they feel. And I wonder what it's like to be in their situation. Now, processing with an open mind is similar, but very different. It's similar that you need to have a level of compassion, but this time you're not having it about feelings. Your open mind means you're accepting of the truth, you're accepting of facts and logic, and less about your opinions and your feelings. Because at times, what could happen is if you merge these things together and blend your feelings with fact, and we'll get into that on point number 1 here momentarily, what could happen is you may never understand what the truth you're even talking about is. And then you're living in your own fantasy world, and we've all done that at times. It could be when you're upset, when you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're mad, when you're worried, when you're fearful. It could be any of these feelings could cause you to no longer have an open mind or an open heart, and that's going to cause you to process incorrectly, which is going to severely damage your relationships, your financial situation, your business, or your organization, and we can't have that. So now we're going to give you 7 steps on how to process issues with an open heart and an open mind. Number 1, separate fact and feeling, your personal bias versus actual truth. So when you hear a piece of information, it may be a subject matter that's really hot and heavy for you, like politics, for example. It may be a social issue that you're really passionate about, and you hear something. And instead of going towards what's the truth about what actually happened, you go towards how you feel about that subject matter without finding out the truth first. And that order and that sequence is going to cause you to be in a lot of strife and a lot of issues in your life. Trust me, I know it. And so I strongly encourage you that the first step to processing the issue is say, what are my feelings and what are the facts? And that way I keep them separate, and I'm going to still have feelings. I'm a human being, but I'm going to take a look at the facts first. Number 2, decide your outcome up front of what direction you're trying to go. What do I mean by direction? Well, is this an issue that you need to fight? Meaning you need to come with a resolution. You need to take care of it. It's something that's pending in your life and it's important to fight for. Or is this an issue that you can flight? Meaning, I don't need to deal with this right now. It's not really helping me. Now, if you're in a relationship and your husband or your wife are showing you this video and saying, "See, I told you, Leader for Life told me I could just flight out of this situation real quick. He said it's one of the steps." Please, that's not what I'm talking about. If it's with your sweetheart, you need to address that immediately. I'm talking about things that don't need to be addressed today because maybe you're putting more credence into the importance. Maybe it's not that important. Maybe it's not. And then fight, you have flight, and then it's freeze. Maybe it's not time to make a decision. Maybe you should take a moment, freeze for a moment, take a step back. Maybe it's just not time to take that next step. So that's number 2, is deciding what course of action and what outcome you want to take. I know my great mentor, Patrick Bet-David, says this regularly. And Patrick Bet-David, for those of you that don't know, is the founder of Valuetainment. And if you guys want to watch his content, I strongly urge you to, because I've been inspired many times from his videos. And I would look up Patrick Bet-David or YouTube channel Valuetainment in order to get more content that's going to help you in your everyday decision making. Well, he said this question when I asked him. I said, Patrick, you run such a big life, you have such a big company, you have so many different competing priorities. How do you make decisions about what's important to tackle? And he said, Jason, if this is an issue that I'm going to be thinking about a year from now, if I don't take care of it today, meaning if it's going to affect my life or the life of those around me a year from now, then I need to apply my heart and my mind today. I need to take care of it today. But if it's an issue that I'm not even going to be thinking about a year from now, I could just kind of take care of it, but I don't need to really lend all of my mental power, my emotional power. You don't need to lend all of yourself to something that's not going to be there and it's not going to be an issue come 6-12 months from now. I thought that was a great tip. Thank you, Patrick, for giving that to me. Number 3, mentally role play being in somebody else's shoes. If the situation that you're trying to process, if the issue you're trying to process involves another human and it's from their point of view, it's very difficult to do this, especially if you're passionate or you're emotionally charged. But take a moment and role play in your mind what it's really like to be that person. And if it doesn't involve another human being, then I want you to take a moment and role play in your mind if the situation that I'm watching or that I'm evaluating right now was to happen directly to me. And be honest, how would you feel? How would you feel? And really, if you get into that place, almost like you're getting into character for a movie, you could better understand how the other person is feeling or how the situation would make you feel. And that's going to help you make a great decision. Number 4, assess whether you need additional time, additional resources, or additional help to make the decision or to process. What do you mean additional time, resource, help? You may just need to go read a couple books. Maybe there's a situation that you're up against and you need to process this issue and you need to go read a few more books on the subject. Maybe you need a little bit more time to think, or maybe you need to reach outside of just the Leader for Life content. Maybe you need to reach outside of your own mind and your own heart. And maybe you need to go into asking another leader, especially somebody that's farther than you in life and in business, what they would do in that circumstance. That's always a go-to, is asking somebody else before you process it yourself. Albert Einstein said that a person can't solve a problem in the same mindset in which that problem was created. Meaning you will stay in the same situation over and over trying to solve it in your head. But if you are the one that caused the problem to begin with, you might not be the one that can solve it. You may need a little bit more help and support in this area. So assess whether you need additional resources. Number 5, also assess what's controllable and what's uncontrollable in your life. For example, I've got an issue. I'm trying to process it. All the variables that are inside this issue, how many of them are uncontrollables? Things that are controllable are like what you say, what you think, what you do. You control your own actions. You control your feelings. You control what you do and say. But maybe there's an uncontrollable, the actions of others, what the federal government's going to do, what a foreign country does, what something happens in the world, the weather. These are all uncontrollables. So you should not spend much time thinking about those. Controllables are the areas of your life that you directly impact. And uncontrollables are the things that happen to you, but you have no control over. Spend very little time and energy on the uncontrollables. Spend all of your time and energy on what you can control. Number 6, if the situation that you're processing involves money, and let's face it, most do, even indirectly, there's still a financial component to processing issues. And so I want to call on a great example from a mentor of mine named Tom Ellsworth. Tom Ellsworth taught me something very valuable. And it was when I was processing an issue that involved money. And I remember it was when I was living in the state of California. and we were making a decision whether the Graziani family was going to move to Texas. And the opportunity presented itself with some business expansion opportunities. And as we processed, it was like, okay, so do we do this? When do we do this? Is this a good idea? And I remember I was scared. I was scared. I mean, I didn't know anybody in the state of Texas. And financially, I was tied to my business in California. I had offices, and those offices had monthly expenses. And so as I was processing what to do, I remember when Tom asked me, he said, I heard you want to go to Texas. I said, I do. He said, why haven't you gone? And I said, well, I have my business in California and I have one more year left on my office leases. And so I have to worry about those things. And he goes, Jason, is that a 3-digit problem, a 4-digit problem, or a 5-digit problem? And I remember being like, I was a little bit bewildered. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. And he said, per month, is the issue you're processing a 3-digit problem, like $500 a month? Is this a 4-digit problem, like $5,000 a month? Is this a 5-digit problem, like $50,000 a month? And I said, oh, no, it's probably a 4-digit problem that could be a 5-digit problem, but 4-digit problem. He says, okay, great. So on one hand, you have a 4-digit a month problem. I said, yes. He said, now, here is the question. He said, how many digits is the solution in Texas should you move? Is it a 3-digit, a 4-digit? And I was like, I kind of interjected. I said, oh, this is a 5-digit a month, if not a 6-digit a month solution. And then the magic question came. He said, Jason, how could you ever allow a 4-digit problem to get in the way of a 5-digit or a 6-digit solution? And I said, oh my gosh, that makes a lot of sense. He said, if it's truly a 5 or 6-digit solution, don't you ever let a 4-digit problem stop you from doing this. And I said, done. Guys, we moved right away and it was smashing success. And although I was still nervous and still scared, that was logic that he helped me process that I couldn't do on my own because the problem I was in was my own life. And if the problem you're in is your own life, very rarely are you going to be able to answer it without the help of others. Tom, I appreciate you for helping me with that step because you encouraged that step forward. And now my confidence is shot through the roof because of it. I appreciate you and many other leaders that have added. And to everybody that's watching here today, I want you to know something. There should be many other people that add value in your life. Other than the Bible, don't ever take one source as the end all be all. There's always opinions and there's always other people that can help you process. And you have to trust the brain that you have in your head and the heart that you have in your body to make proper decision. And finally, number 7. Number 7 is take action, make a decision, get after it. There's always something that needs to be done. So if you're not going to solve and process this issue, move on and go solve another one, because guess what? Your to-do list of processing issues is never going to stop. You're always going to have issues. So you could always watch this video, go back to the takes in the beginning. And even if you forgot everything that I said here and you don't want to go back to the material in the beginning, I'll give you 4 words that are going to help you out a lot. You ready? Think, listen, talk, laugh. Think, listen, talk, and laugh. And at the end of the day, that's all we really can do, right? Hey team, if any of our content here provided value to your life, your family, and your business, go ahead and follow our channel, subscribe to our channel, Leader for Life, share the content with others, like our material, and heck, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Let us know, how can we add value to your life? And maybe our leadership team will go back to the office and we'll put an episode together just for you about the situation you're dealing with. If you want to reach out to me directly, I would love to help you process these issues and provide any value that this mortal man can help you do. I'm just a person, I have an opinion, and maybe it'll help you guys out. And so today, I hope you decide to choose to be a leader for life. You take care, God bless, and we'll see you at the top. Bye-bye, everybody.